Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious, hearty, protein-packed lentil soup. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This soup is just perfect for fall and winter, and it's packed full of flavor and nutrients. And it will also keep you full and satisfied for a long time. So let's get started. First, the ingredients. Here's a list what I use to make the soup, but feel free to improvise or substitute. Soups are very forgiving that way. Baking, not so much, but with cooking you can always substitute ingredients and still end up with a terrific end result. With baking, you usually have to follow the directions exactly as given. I'm using red lentils because I like the color, and also they cook more quickly than green or brown lentils. Red lentils will cook down to a mushy consistency rather quickly, so it's good for soup, whereas green and brown lentils will maintain their shape even after cooking, so they're good for use in salad or as a side dish. This is a matter of preference, of course, but for my lentil soup, I like to use the red lentils. So let's start by measuring out a cup of red lentils and then rinsing them off well to wash away any starch or dirt or any other impurities that might be in the package. As I'm doing this, I visually inspect for any small pebbles that might have gotten mixed in with the lentils. I haven't found a pebble in many years, but you never know, and you could break a tooth biting into one, so it's good to check. The packages of lentils I buy seem pretty clean, but I rinse and check anyway. Old habits die hard. Next, I let the lentils soak for around 2 hours, and you can see even though I rinsed the lentils, the water still turned cloudy. You can let these soak even longer, and if you soak them overnight or longer than that, you'll find some of them might even sprout. And that's absolutely fine. Some people do this purposely to improve the protein content, as the sprouting converts the carbs into protein. The main purpose of soaking the lentils, aside from them cooking faster, is to neutralize the phytic acid that all beans have. This is considered an anti-nutrient that prevents the body from absorbing the minerals you're eating. Soaking the lentils helps to neutralize that phytic acid and also potentially help people who otherwise have digestive problems when they eat beans. Next, I have my other vegetables ready to cut up. A bunch of onions, a celery root, turnip, and of course, fresh garlic. I also have a can of diced tomatoes ready to add. I like adding the celery root and turnip to give the soup some chunky pieces to eat, and I also added 1 large carrot to the soup. You can add or subtract any of these vegetables as you see fit. These are just the ones that I use. Like I said before, soup is very forgiving. As for the seasoning, I use sea salt and also this garam masala powder that adds amazing depth of flavor. If you don't have garam masala, you can add 2 teaspoons of cumin and 1 teaspoon of curry powder instead. For this soup, I added 1 teaspoon of garam masala and also 1 teaspoon of this tandoori masala, and they worked well together in this recipe. You can use whatever spices you like, salt, pepper, garlic powder, whatever makes you happy. But the cumin flavor is what makes this taste more authentic, and that's in the tandoori masala spice along with coriander, ginger, cardamom. So I make sure the cumin is in the soup either separately or in the masala spice. It really makes the lentil soup sing. Next, I have a nice large pot to make the soup in. So first I'm going to saute the onions. The recipe calls for 1 large onion, but I diced up around 3 smaller onions, and again, it really doesn't matter. If you like onions, put in more. If you don't, put in less. No problem. Once the onions were soft and translucent, I added the carrots. And then 3 cloves of garlic. Again, nothing says you can't put more or less in. It's your soup, so you do you. Next is the celery root, and again, if you don't have one, don't worry, just leave it out. I peeled and then sliced and diced it, and in it went into the pot along with the turnip and then the can of diced tomatoes. And you can see the pot is getting filled up pretty quickly, and I haven't even added the lentils yet. Next, I squeeze a fresh lemon and added the juice to the pot, along with 4 cups of water. Some people use vegetable stock, but I don't. I just taste the soup and add more spices if I need to. Some people recommend better than bouillon. I've never tried it, but use whatever source of vegetable stock you have, or use water like I do, and then add spices. For me, the vegetables add a lot of flavor, and then the salt, the lemon, the masala add even more flavor. And finally, I add the lentils, and you can see they look more like 2 cups than the original 1 cup, and that's because I soaked them in water, and they absorbed it and doubled in size. Now, stir this up and let it simmer until everything gets cooked down, and this could take about 40 minutes or more, depending on how high your heat is. I like to use a medium to low flame and let the soup simmer for at least an hour, and then I come back occasionally, stir, and see if the consistency is good. You are looking for a soft, cooked consistency. I highly recommend tasting the soup to see if it's cooked long enough, and also to check the seasoning. In this case, I decided to add some turmeric and some dried dill weed, and then the soup was ready. Now you can leave it chunky like this, but we like it a little more creamy, so in goes the immersion blender until I have the consistency I like. Here you can see there are still some bits of celery root and turnip, however small, but your tongue still feels it, and we like it that way. If you don't, then keep processing with the immersion blender until the soup is the texture you like. Or you can put the soup into a standing blender, but I find the immersion blender is a lot easier and there's less cleanup. And then serve and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.